difficult job to hold people's interest before lunch, and but we'll try. We'll try. Um, let me just start with 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll go to my co-panelists. Uh, I think the unprecedented surge in the infrastructure build we are seeing for the last at least 5 years, and we can actually go back 10 or even 15 years, have been very heartening, have been, it's kind of provided a lot of opportunity to a lot of new players. New funding has come in. I think employment is there, economy is kind of getting boosted, etc. But I want to touch upon 4 or 5 issues going forward. One is on the funding side. I think in the highways, particularly since panel is focusing on highways, most of the funding seems to be coming through the taxpayers' money, at least for the new highways which are getting constructed. The earlier regime of BOT or NOT seem to have taken a back seat. We'll come back on that. So one is on the funding of the new infrastructure, on the highway infrastructure. Second, we all are seeing the disasters which are happening around us, and therefore what is happening to the highway infrastructure, particularly Himachal, Uttarakhand, even the urban areas. If you look at that, I think the second part, and we have experts here, so we'll just go back to that. Tata projects and even the earlier panel spoke on skills required. We've been talking about this at least for 20 years now, and I'm very apprehensive on what is going to happen in the next 5 years, next 7 years at the build rate we require and the skill set we have available. So therefore, is there a technological intervention which is possible? Is there some version of AI, some version of machine learning? Is that possible to partly replace or to partly assist the skill development which is happening there? We are also very fortunate to have Govt with us as a co-panelist. They hold the largest number of road assets in the country, and they also have the global reach and the global understanding. Therefore, we can go back to them and kind of understand. So what I'll do is, with the permission of everybody, I think what I'll do, I'll start with a couple of minutes for each of us. Govt, I'll start with you. And once that's done, I'll come back with 1 or 2 questions so that we can bring it to far more relevance than that. Then if the time permits in the end, and I see the clock ticking there, we'll take 5 or 7 minutes in the end to kind of take a couple of questions. So Govt, if you could give us a perspective on what is the future, how can we build, particularly bringing your global reach, your global understanding of the projects on the highway side. Govt, all yours.
Thank you, sir, and good morning, everyone. So when we talk about 2047, 100 years after independence, and seeing India as a developed country, there are a couple of things which I would like to, there are 4 points basically. The first point is planning part, which is, I feel has been lacking. So what we need is, I think, the integrated transport plan. That is the key. Because what we are doing, we have to, do a paradigm shift from project-based approach to first making a complete plan for the country as a whole. What should be our network plan for the country? So for that, what we need is the traffic forecast for the entire, how the traffic is going to move, what share is going to be taken by rail, what is going to be done by road, what is to be done by the aviation, and all sorts of transport, and how they are integrated with each other. And then we do the development, because now we are just 22 years, to reach to 2047. And if we do this planning for next 2-3 years, then we will have 18-20 years to implement that plan. So that's the first thing, I think. Because right now what we are doing is, our approach has been the project-based. And so on this, I would like to quote one example. When we talk about, say, NCR, and we talk a lot in the rainy season, there's submergence all around. But can Highway Authority or NHAI resolve this problem? My answer is no. Because if you just see what is the road area with say, if I take example now specific to Gurgaon, what is the road area of Gurgaon which is with NHI? They can't resolve this issue unless we have a comprehensive drainage plan for the city, complete city. So that is same thing, when we talk about, we see more challenges on the urban areas, on the drainage and all those things. Rural areas have different challenges. So first we have to make the network plan, then we see how, cities plan the infrastructure as a whole. For the cities, there is a need to have a complete infrastructure plan, which road is one part of it. Transport, we have on the urban, when we come to the urban side, then we have to make our plans specific to, mainly people centric. We don't plan where our bus stops are, how we see more, all across Delhi, you will not see pick drop points. So our pick drop point should be close to the place where people are going to, take a cab or something. So, and then when we see the condition of our footpaths, nobody walks on footpaths because they are not in that condition that people can walk around. So when I see 2047, I see all that in a very structured way. But to make that happen, the first thing is the country level plan, transport plan, and then integrated plans for the cities, integrated with that transport plan. That is the part number one. Now I would like to touch upon two more things. There's one thing is the data. So data is the key, and for that we need to keep on storing the data. So like whether it's a traffic data, or even we have to now change our approach on the designs also. So the DPR approach is not going to work. We need to have BIM implementation for the entire infrastructure, and at least now we start for the new things which has not happened in the past. So that is another thing which I would like to mention here. And the last one, when we talk about last, and it's the most important, is the road safety. So every year, on the highways, we say in the road fatalities are now close to 2 lakh persons every year, which is a huge number. And so what are we doing towards that? So for that, one thing is the infrastructure has to be done accordingly. Another thing which is like the behavioral change. For behavioral change, I think what we need to do is right from school, we need to add a course curriculum, and it should be mandatory for everyone to have a particular level of score before he takes a driving license. People who have not done this, maybe some institutes take up those and they can get it before getting the license. So with this, I'll just like to,
Thanks, Bhavin.
back to you.
Bhavin, I'm going to come back to you on this safety thing. You just give it a thought. Particularly, if you can tell us 3 main points, 3 points specific. Let me come back to you. Let me go back to Mr. Pandey. My one big thought is on saying that the rate at which we are consuming the natural resources to build highways, and we want to build more highways. The topic is how to build highways quicker, faster, speedier, and more highways. What is the thought on the materials being used? Are we going to keep consuming the natural resources, or are we coming up with some? We have all heard of the recycling, milling and recycling and all that is happening, but is there something more happening where the natural resources don't get depleted at the rate at which is getting depleted, particularly at the huge rate which we envisage at which we need to build the highways? All yours.
So thank you, Mr. Minocha, and first of all, very good afternoon to all the esteemed participants in this conference. So as we all are aware that the India holds world's second largest road network in terms of length. And every year we consume around 1.2 billion ton natural aggregate for road construction and maintenance activity work. And this quantity is expected to be double by the end of 2030. So it's a high time like that we should see towards the alternate resources which we can utilize not only for the construction of road as well as for all civil engineering construction activities. So the construction of road and infrastructure is one thing, and the another important aspect is that the construction of roads which is durable in nature and should remain maintenance free in long run. So now the climate resilience infrastructure with sustainability in mind is another dimension of our construction and maintenance activity work. And in this direction, the CSIR Central Road Research Institute, which is India's oldest and largest publicly funded research organization exclusively dealing into road infrastructure domain, in last couple of decades has developed such couple of technologies through which the consumption of natural resources can be reduced significantly. So in this direction, our one such technology is the steel slag road technology, where we can utilize the industrial waste generated into the steel industries, particularly the steel slag, as a substitute of natural aggregate in road construction. So every year in India, around 22 million ton steel slag is produced through different integrated steel plant. And this quantity is expected to reach 60 million ton by the end of 2030, with the expected capacity augmentation in different steel plants across the country. So presently, the India is producing around 150 to 160 million ton processed steel, and this quantity is going to be double by the end of 2030. And for every ton of steel production, around 20% steel slag is generated as a solid waste. So under a major research project sponsored by Ministry of Steel, in collaboration with 4 major steel industries in India comprising ArcelorMittal, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, and SAIL, we have developed this steel slag valorization technology, through which the steel slag can be converted in the form of a processed steel slag aggregate. And these steel slag aggregate can be utilized as a 100% substitute of natural aggregate in all the layers of the road. So first steel slag road was built in April 2022 in Gujarat. It is inducted into India Book of Record, Asia Book of Record, and afterward around 9 projects so far completed in different parts of India, where the steel slag aggregate were utilized as a 100% substitute of natural aggregate in national highway as well as in strategic roads by the Border Road Organization, even in Indo-China border in Arunachal Pradesh. So the major advantage of this process is that we are substituting the natural aggregate, so there is no consumption of natural resources. Besides that, you can reduce the overall thickness of the road by 35 to 40%. Now, another important dimension is that if we are reducing the road, then what is its impact on its strength and durability? So with the uses of steel slag aggregate, the stiffness or the structural stiffness of the road is going to be improved by 3 to 4 times. So it's a sort of a perpetual maintenance-free road. The first road which we built in March 2022 in Hazira, Surat, is still completely pothole-free. It is having around 4,000 to 5,000 commercial vehicle per day moving to the port, but there is not even a single pothole despite 3 continuous rainy season. So at that time, like when every day we are seeing the debates on the news channel about the potholes and different sort of aspect. So in this regard, with the slag aggregate, we have even developed our one EcoFix technology using processed steel slag aggregate, which can be utilized to fix the waterlogged pothole. It is once again a steel slag aggregate based technology, so no dewatering of the pothole is required, and once it is fixed, then 3 years it will remain maintenance free. So Government of Karnataka, Government of Assam, NCT, National Capital Territory of Delhi, Government of Andhra Pradesh has already signed a tripartite MOA with us, and they are implementing it in a large scale. I got the opportunity to demonstrate the technology in last month to Honorable PWD Minister, of Government of Maharashtra, Mr. Bhosle, on Mumbai-Goa National Highway. So the Government of Maharashtra is also going to implement in a large scale manner. So this all about the potential industrial waste utilization, and I am delighted to inform you that by motivating with the Indian technological breakthrough, in the United States of America is also utilizing the steel slag road technology to build steel slag road near Chicago using Cliff. So we are extending our technological support to Department of Energy USA. So it's a fully sponsored research program. Along with that, with the government of Oman, we are building the road at Muscat and in Sohar using steel slag road technology. So it's a kind of a technological breakthrough in the industrial waste valorization domain. The another important aspect is the recycling, as Mr. Minocha has highlighted that majority of roads in India are normally the bituminous pavement. So 95% road is basically the blacktop road. So what we do, like whenever any sort of distress is on the surface, so we put an overlay on top of it, and by virtue of that, the road's height is keep on increasing. So it affects our overall drainage pattern in the city. Besides that, the useful resources like the aggregate and the binder keep buried underneath the road. So in place of it, like we develop the technology RejuPave. With the help of it, you can reutilize 70 to 80% reclaimed asphalt pavement material from the road for the production of bituminous surfacing. So it has been successfully utilized in couple of NHI projects, even in the Varanasi Ring Road project, it is utilized by the GR Infra. And across India, the different agencies like IRB Infra are utilizing it. And it can also be utilized to bring down the production and laying temperature of the asphalt mix. So border road organization at high altitude region in minus temperature conditions, -5, -6 is utilize this technology to construct the asphalt road using it. So these are the different technological breakthrough which can help us out to bring sustainability in our approach while constructing and maintaining the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Pandit. Thank you so much. If the time permits, I'm going to come back to you with one question particularly. Saying if you're going to need 2 billion tons, say 5 years from now, what is the percentage of the recycled material and the new materials and the slag, etc. you envisage? And what is the roadmap for that? What is the percentage we will be able to achieve at that time? Let me come back to you with that question. I'll just leave that with you. Vijay, lakhs of crores of taxpayer money is being spent, and rightly so, because private sector had stepped back. What do we need to do? What kind of funding can come in? What do we need to do to start replacing the taxpayers' money with the private money? We all know that there are a lot of private money sitting in the country as well, or even the government money, pension money, insurance money. Well, tell us about 5 different things which we need to do. What kind of money can come in? What can the magnitude of the money which can come in? The amount of money which can come in? And what do we need to do to make that happen?
Yeah,
Vijay,
thanks, Parvesh. Very difficult question, because money is money always, and we all look for money. And infrastructure investment, road investment, definitely, I think, if I'm not wrong, that has attracted the largest amount of private sector money. The road and renewables, I think these are the 2 very successful PPP programs where private capital has come in. Renewables, I had not seen so much delinquencies or evaporation of companies, but road sector, we had seen those things happening. 15 years back, those companies are not there today. And what has happened, the people had bid aggressively, NHA has not given the land on time, the projects got delayed, companies got defaulted, they wiped out. So if we are to attract the capital, see, every capital requires a return. So we have to really create a balance of capital and a return on the capital. If we are creating a conducive environment, like I just give you a classic example of InvITs. We have highest number, more than 2 lakh crores have been invested in road InvITs only. Otherwise, if we total out, 5 lakh crores plus is an investment in road InvITs in the country today. Now, why this capital has been attracted? Because these are the stable assets which are generating the cash and distributing the cash to the investors. Now, these are the patient investors who are looking for long life investments, and they are not looking at 25-30% return. They are happy with a 10 to 12, 13% return over the life of their investment. What they are technically doing is replacing their FDs with this type of investment where they can generate more returns and security. If we are able to create these type of structures, I think capital, every year we can generate a 5 lakh, 6 lakh crore of private sector, private money to invest in infrastructure assets. What we had to do is, I think we had all our experiences that the money is lost during construction. So what NHA is doing currently is building the roads, then it should be transferred under PPP by TOT, by other programs to the private sector. So NHA can do the recycling of the capital. The BOT program, it has already seen its days. I was talking about the companies which were wiped off because they were in the BOT space and completely gone haywire. Very few assets could perform, but they took down the companies also. To avoid that, we should do this way. We can also selectively, what we can do is maybe, suppose NHA wants to invest 2 lakh crores every year. They can do a bucketing, 1/3 for EPC, 1/3 for HAM, and 1/3 for BOT. And another request from the bidding community, the contracting community, they should not go over aggressive. Because ultimately you have to download these assets to an investor. and he has to also make a return. If the roads, the bidding has been done properly, returns will be generated, you will find the buyer, and you will able to recycle your capital. So we need to really create this mechanism. Just to give you AIF, the scene, we don't realize that 15 lakh crore capital has been committed to AIFs. 15 lakh crores commitments. And we have not seen the pension money and insurance money coming to this sector. Right now there are restrictions and even the Provident EPFO, it is sitting on such a huge amount of money. We can make a, like Suresh was telling in the previous, if we make a right instruments for investment for this sector, I think one suggestion I will give from my side. See, suppose you want to invest in a greenfield highway also, we want to attract a capital, okay. We can do that also. Is that, okay, during construction, we can, the guaranteed returns are given to the investors. And see, model is prepared where the returns are shown, and we can always have a hurdle rate where authority will not take. And after that, there can be a sharing between investors and authority. So this way, probably we will avoid apprehension of underselling of the roads, which is, we had seen so many TOT programs have been cancelled where NHAI has said that this bidding was lower than their expected price. We can avoid that also. And I think we need to really create an innovative solution. Today, the government thinking is also, SEBI is also very positive. And we can create instruments which can attract capitals. That's what my...
Thanks, Vijay. I'm going to come back to you with one, sharper question, which is saying to build new highways, how can we get in private money? We are getting, I think, reasonable response to InvITs or TOTs after the highways have been built. But the topic of the today is saying how do we build highways in a decent manner, at a good speed, and of the quality which is required. Therefore, how do we attract, sharp question I'll come back to you with, saying how do we attract private money into building the greenfield or building the new highways? That's a specific one. Agarwal sahab, out to you. I think we all heard a lot about the skill deficit which exists. And we were talking about this at least for about 15-20 years. Tripathi sahab spoke about this, I know, in the previous session. And Tatas gave a full presentation on that. I think while we are struggling, while we are making all effort, L&T made an effort, Tata made an effort, I'm sure Kalpataru is making an effort, everybody making an effort. But it is not succeeding. In the meanwhile, we are facing huge quality issues. Whenever there is a natural calamity, we face quality issue. Even otherwise, the brand new highways came in, etc. I just wanted to ask you, is the industry, the construction industry, equipment industry in particularly, thinking of aiding, assisting the skills with the newer models which are being practiced elsewhere, for example, AI, or for example, automation, or for example, machine learning? Is something happening on that regard on the equipment side, so that even if there is a bit of a deficit on the skill side, or the skilling gets enhanced with these other tools? Over to you.
So, good afternoon, and thank you very much for the question. I represent Hyundai Construction Equipment, and we are from the construction equipment side. So, we all, we were talking about the necessity of making quicker highway, safe highway, quality construction. So, my take is, from the equipment side, three things. One, the skill, the person who is operating the equipment. Second could be the quality of construction equipment itself, because when you're talking about bidding and lower bidding, and then the quality of equipment which will ultimately give you the quality of work, that needs to be somewhere standardized, and we need to have a process that, okay, how we can standardize that. And third could be the maybe utilization of these equipment. These are high capital equipment, and when we talk about the contractors, all, in current situation, everybody is having kind of ownership model. So everybody owns the equipment, and in the equipment utilization again if we at this project or at some project it is working, and when the project is finished, the equipment is idle. So how we can reduce the kind of idling of equipment? So the coming on the skill development, almost all the manufacturer in this industry, they are doing something or the other in different programs of the government of India or our own necessity, because the skilled operator is required to operate those kind of equipment. Unfortunately, for riding a bike, which is maybe a kind of a lakh of rupees, you need a license. But to operate equipment, you don't need a license. So that is, that is an kind of irony of situation today. So this whole ownership is taken by the manufacturers or the contractors. They are training, like Tata Project has given the whole presentation, because they are training their equipment operators. Why? Because they need a quality kind of product, and they need the equipment utilization should go up. But we do not have any license for these operators. So that is, we have been talking to different departments, different agencies that, okay, we should have some kind of norm in the tender itself that, okay, a certified operator or licensed operator who should issue, we don't have an agency who issues the license for these equipment operators. So, and this equipment, you need a heavy license. The truck driver cannot operate a construction equipment. So this is, so we need to go a long way on this direction also, that, okay, how to standardize the parameters for operating this equipment, issuing the licenses. Then the utilization. Today everybody is talking about the contractors, they have this ownership. In our country, maybe we are selling around more than 100,000 construction equipment every year. It's around $8 billion industry. We employ maybe around 3.54 million people in this industry. But we do not have alternative like financing solution for this. It's like, like I buy a car, I go to a finance company and then I own buy construction equipment. It's hypothecated. There are different solutions available. Somehow with those solutions like leasing, they are not. There could be a very good contractor who need a different kind of equipment. Contractor has to buy all those equipment. He need to have that kind of capital to buy those equipment. Why can't we have a different kind of agencies who are leasing those equipment and specialized equipment? So the utilization will go up and the capital can be employed quite efficiently. So those kind of agencies are maybe which are globally available. Maybe those are not. Something is required on that front. And third thing is the quality of equipment itself. So we have like scrappage policy for cars, for commercial vehicles. We currently use sometime maybe a 20-year-old equipment, sometime 30-year-old equipment, sometime 10-year-old equipment. So there could be, so this all affect the quality and safety of the construction also. So I think all these three parameters need to be worked together in integrated manner, so that the highways could be made quicker, highways can be made cost effective, and at the same time maybe safer.
Thank you, Akhilesh. Let me come back to you with one question at the end of this was saying, is something being done to aid assist the skilling in terms of use of AI, machine learning, automation? Let me come back to you. Very specific question on this one, if you can just tell us that. Because we all know skill is required, you just kind of highlighted that anybody can operate the thing, there's no control, there's no pre-qualification required. But is the industry doing something about it? Rather than we are just all lamenting about skill not being available. Are we doing something about aiding, assisting the skilling, aiding, assisting the operator, so that quality stays intact? Let me come back to this question. Coming back to you, Bovin, again, sorry, the first question saying, on the safety aspects, if you're moving 2 or 3 times the population of Earth through the highways every year, and we have the highest fatality rate in the world, tell us 2 or 3 specific points, being the largest owner of the assets. How can we enhance the quality? How can we enhance the safety of the road while we are focusing on building it a kind of speedier and quicker highways? How can we make them also safer highways?
So, sir, I'll start with a point like, the speed is not the killer.
We just have 2 minutes each, if you don't mind. Then we'll take 2
Sorry?
minutes. We have 2 minutes for each of the speakers.
Sure. Yeah. So, to me, the speed is not the killer. It's the speed differential that's the killer. And when we vehicle moving at a speed of 120, 130, and on the same time there is somebody standing on the road, or people moving at a 20. So that difference creates a problem. So basically, it's an interface. First of all, the infrastructure, we have to create the right infrastructure. We are not designing our interfaces correctly. Our junctions, our interchanges are not designed properly. That is one thing which is on the design side. Now the second part is, again, as I said, behavior side. So we need to take some, the education is one part, as I was mentioning in this thing. Another thing is enforcement. So for enforcement, I think we need to be stringent. Like, I have seen in the Middle East, you cannot drive a vehicle with a scratch on the road. Moment you made this type of policy in the country that, you can't drive a vehicle with a scratch on the road, and if there is a scratch, you have to call the police, and then you take a certificate from the police, then only you can get it repaired. If we make something like that, this type of a strong rules, I think that can help a lot. Creating the culture is definitely very, very important. And for that, I think it's a continuous effort which every one of us has to make. So it's not the driving rules people need to know. Driving etiquettes is also very, very important.
Thanks, Bhuvan. We are actually missing Akhilesh ji. I mean, he is a safety expert on the road, and he's been doing a lot of work through CII and through other forums, which I'm aware of. But so I think we understand. You were saying the three aspects, as I understand from you, saying the design need to be better, enforcement need to be much better, and also
education and culture.
And therefore, the people need to be educated. People need to be trained. I think it's coming almost to the same thing on the skill side and on the user side, on both sides. I'm not sure these are easy to implement or very quick to implement, but we'll take it saying that yes, we need these. I think let this be a kind of beginning of a debate that it is not just the speedier construction of highways, it is not the more construction of highways, but it is saying how do we make them safer so that people who go out on the highways are much safer than they were earlier. Thanks, Bhuvan.
Thank you, sir.
Coming back to Pandit ji. Pandit, tell us, if you are roughly saying that by 2030 we need about 2 billion tons of material, natural materials, what is your take on by 2030 the recycled material or the newer industrial waste materials? What percentage will they constitute by 2030? And is there any message you want to give to the largest highway developers, the agencies, whether state PWDs or NHAI others, saying they need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, these steps so that the percentage can be met?
Okay, so as far as the consumption of natural aggregate in the country is concerned, so as I discussed in the previous segment, like it's going to be doubled by the end of 2030, it's to be around 2.5 billion ton. So in this regard, like in present condition, the consumption of recycled asphalt pavement material in India is limited to around 1.2 to 1.5 million ton. But at the same time in the US, it is around 80 to 90 million ton. So I got the opportunity to visit the US and even the couple of European countries where the pavement recycling is a mandatory aspect. It's a part of their regular policy. It's not an optional practice. So in the country like Austria, Switzerland, like every road which is required to be rehabilitated, it is required to be milled, and the milled material is supposed to be reutilized to the highest possible volume to carry out the resurfacing work. But in India, it is limited. So in the city like Delhi, you might have seen the extensive milling is going on, but the reutilization is very limited. Since we are still using very age-old asphalt plant, we are not eager to go towards the maximization of this material, since we don't want to upgrade our technology as well as we don't want to change our conventional mindset. So this policy intervention is very much required. So from 1.2 million ton, if we can go up to 90 or 1 billion ton RAP reutilization, then it can reduce our reliance significantly on perishable natural aggregate as well as the bitumen. So in India, we are importing around 60 million ton bitumen annually. So there can be a significant reduction in the bitumen aspect, since our reliance on the imported material will get reduced, since RAP contains around 3 to 4% residual binder which can be reutilized for resurfacing work. So balance amount of binder is required will be the virgin one, and the rest of the things comes out from the milled material. And the parallelly at the same time, like the reutilization of industrial waste, as I discussed about the steel slag, the parallelly this copper slag can be reutilized, and we are also working on red mud. The fly ash utilization has been maximized, so all kind of retaining walls you are seeing on highway is invariably having the fly ash as a backfill material. So the CSIR Central Road Research Institute in 1996 first time built a retaining wall having a backfill of a fly ash. So this entire technology is developed by the Central Road Research Institute in India. Now it is very much integrated in different Indian Road Congress specification, BIS standard and MORTH guidelines. So besides the policy intervention, like there will be an approach, a sustainable approach towards the development of green infrastructure is required, and for that a commitment is required from the agency like CUBE and the major organization like IRB, Ashoka and all major construction industries in India to maximize the industrial waste utilization in road construction.
Thank you, Bandaji. Thank you so much. Vijay, coming back to the $1 million, actually literally the $1 billion question literally, which is saying what pools of capital and what do we need to do to attract that capital to build new highways? Yeah. Once built highways, privatization, we understand a lot of money coming in. But what do we need to do, and how much money can be attracted in what period of time? Yeah. 2 minutes, please.
Yeah. So I think money is not in a short supply. Only the right instrument, right vehicle is in a short supply. So there are enough money, domestic AIF money is available, and a private equity, global private equity money is available, which can go during construction, because that's your specific question, how we can attract the capital during construction. So that capital is available. We need to really create a partnership with the good developers and the PE funds or the funds, and launch this program. They go for a sensible biddings, and concessions are tweaked to suit the requirement, because see, one of the biggest concern which is there in the PE fund community is the competing roads. Now, the government is announcing a competing road left, right, center, and it is impacting the traffic pattern and returns on their investment. So how we protect that will be the thing which we have to really evolve. But if we create this partnership of developers and a PE funds, where developer build the road, PE funds take over post-construction, like what NHA is doing. NHA is doing the same thing by using their own capital and then transferring under the TOT to all the large funds. I think I don't see any challenge to attract a $30–40 billion capital every year on year for this program. Thanks. And just to give you example, the domestic funds, if you see Sekura, they had raised close to 20,000 crores, mainly domestic money. Neo has raised more than 3,000 crores. Alpha has raised 3,000 crores. What it is saying is that the domestic money is also available if we have a right fund manager, right set of people managing the funds, and who are ensuring a return of funds with the return generated on them. I think the money is available. Even we are getting a 28,000 crores of SIP money every month in the mutual fund. And if we are creating a proper, mutual funds may not be able to take the greenfield risk, but post-construction, they are investing now in the InvITs. If you see a lot of InvITs, the blocks are happening where mutual funds are buying. So that's the thing.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks, Vijay. You know,
just to say one thing on this.
We are completely
just drainage only. Okay.
We're completely out of time. Sorry. I think one of the things which might take from this conference, this panel is saying we're not finding solutions to everything. But this is just to start a debate. This is just to start that the ideas are spoken for. They have been kind of spoken repeatedly, so that we can then take action. Coming back to this up to you. Tell us sharply saying, is something being done on the equipment side using AI or other modern tools to partly compensate or enhance the skill sets of the operators? Is something being done, or you say no, this is still 2, 3, 5 years away, or no, nothing is being done?
See, the technology is now is part and parcel of every sphere of life. Construction equipment is not away from this. Today's equipment, if you look at, they come equipped with the kind of technology where you can measure the location of equipment, the fuel consumed, the operating parameters, the compaction strength, the whatever you want to see, the load on the bucket, how much it is loaded and all. So all this is part and parcel of the equipment today. For the operator who is operating, there is a kind of live feed available that okay, what is missing, what function of the equipment is not operating properly. But then there is something, the right behavior, the right kind of operating skills have to be given to the person who is operating it. We can create technological tools for him to, maybe he can have distant learning, app-based learning, but ultimately he has to have touch and feel of the equipment and operate it. So that he has to have, plus the equipment category, you have today equipment, maybe the costing in the construction equipment varies to 50% range kind of thing, plus minus 50%. So the quality of output also depends upon the quality of construction equipment you put. Today the bids are going minus 30%, minus 40%, minus 20%. So obviously somewhere it is compromised. So those kind of standardization need to be inbuilt into the maybe the award process or the contract itself, so that you get the output which is quality and safe. Yeah.
Thanks, Akhilesh. So therefore, my understanding quickly from saying is AI coming in a big way? Perhaps not yet, but I think it will probably come in. As I can see, we have about 3 minutes with permission of the co-panelists. We can take 1 or 2 questions if there are 1 or 2 questions. Otherwise, I can go back to the panelists and ask one more thing to them to speak. But if there is a question, we can take 1 or 2 questions.
Yes, Ravi Agarwal this side from Macromancy. I have 2 small questions. One is Mr. Satish Pandey, and one is other panel anyone can take. Mr. Parikshit said in earlier panel that we need a better contracts. We buy a car with a 15-year warranty. In other words, we can say 15-year shelf life. Now Indian Railway is implementing, specifically in the dedicated freight corridor, with a 35 years.
Can you kindly come to the question? We just have 2 minutes left.
35 years of locomotive shelf life. Then can we have a contract with the life of 10 years or 15 years in the road manufacturing, road building sector, so we can avoid the potholes and maintenance kind of issues after constructing the road? And second thing is that, is there any kind of innovation scheme or innovation hub kind of competition in the road sector, highway sector, under the CSIR and the government, where industry can innovate with the new technologies to implement in a realistic manner?
So, as far as your first question is concerned, so there is always a provision of a de facto liability period. So it is inbuilt in every contract of NHAI. So it is normally 5 years. And all the roads are designed with 20-year design life. So during the DLP period, if anything is happening in the road, then all the maintenance is required to be supposed to be carried out by the concessionaire. But I absolutely agree with you, like in place of it, there should be a performance-based parameter. So at the first instance, why we should allow any kind of distress should occur on the road, and then we ask them to maintain it on their cost. So there should be a tender should be modified in such a manner, like if you can build a road which should remain completely distress-free, then bid should be invited for that sort of thing. So in this direction, there are a couple of things need to be done at the MORTH level. As far as your second question is concerned related to the innovative schemes, so we have continuous engagement with the industry. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, the I is stand for the industry. So we are doing the collaborative research projects, couple of major industries in India, and you can avail this particular opportunity and collaborate with us on any of the important issue.
So if you see even the contracts perspective,
we have 30 seconds left.
Yeah. So all the PPP contracts have actually performance standards set in. So if somebody is not complying, that is a different story. But otherwise, that is already mentioned. So PPP contracts are ranging from 15 years to 25, 30 years concession period. So that's already built into it. As far as innovation is concerned, so government has, in fact, for the industry, has given a freedom, especially for PPP. We can implement anything even if our standards do not exist, but we have to take that ownership, and we keep doing that.
Thank you so much. With that, I think we need to thank all the sponsors, we need to thank ET, we need to thank all the participants, and of course my co-panelists. I think the idea was to start discussion on some of these topics. Idea was to bring them to the fore. I think we've been able to do that. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.